What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/ChoosingBeggars.
Alright, this story is called The King of Choosing Beggars. This is the tale of someone I'll refer to as Bob. Now, you might wonder why I consider Bob to be the king of choosing beggars, and it's very simple. Bob is a professional choosing beggars. Has been one for more than a decade now, making a living off of begging, earning an estimated $6,000 plus from said begging a month, all while insulting and demeaning the people that give him his money. For your entertainment, I will start at the beginning. This story starts in the early 2000s. At this time, Bob was a lazy 20-something that just got his first job. His dad pulled strings to get him a job where he worked. But like many choosing beggars, Bob didn't like his job. During this time, he started playing video games professionally on the side, which led to a fluke win. It's considered a fluke because he couldn't recreate this victory in a notable gaming tournament, which inflated his ego massively. At this time, YouTube was still in its infancy. Our boy Bob started uploading his gaming videos to YouTube. It was more to feed that growing ego than his wallet. And then it happened. YouTube monetization. This was enough for Bob to earn decent money, leading him to making a down payment on an apartment. It is at this point Bob claims he got injured on the job and was subsequently fired. But Bob is a pathological liar, and popular belief among most lore keepers is that he arrived to work drunk several times, which led to his termination. This led Bob to make his first recorded begging video. The video consisted of him telling people that he got fired from his job through no fault of his own, a line he still uses when blaming his self-created misfortune on others. And he said in the video that he was going to do YouTube professionally from now on, and if people wanted to support him in his endeavor, they can send him money via PayPal or simply clicking the ads that pop up on his video. This was profitable enough that after a while, he actually made a second video sometime later. But realizing that asking people to click the ads was against monetization terms of service, he vaguely asked his viewing audience to, participate with the video. He got away with doing this for close to 2 years before YouTube realized unusual click activity and banned his monetization. But like many crafty choosing beggars, Bob already had a solution for this. His channel was big enough for it to be picked up by a partnership program that offered him a top-tier partnership. Though, due to their own incompetence, they were unable to see that Bob wasn't as popular as the other top-tier partners. So now his channel was monetized by their ads accounts, and he was getting paid way over what he was actually bringing in. So with his monthly income secure, our little beggar started to expand his channel. At that point, it was simply a vlogging and video game channel, but to draw in extra views, he started to ask his friends to star in his videos. This led to a web series, which was quite popular, but Bob, being a choosing beggar, never compensated all of his friends. When asked about this, he stated that they just wanted exposure and never wanted money. In the end, only one of his friends ended up getting actual money from this, and only till Bob figured out a way to shaft him, giving him a vague reason why he had to pay him less money than his transportation costs. It was at this time that his friends started noticing things. Very expensive things. The luxury German sedan in Bob's parking spot was the straw that broke the camel's back. Realizing that crap was about to get real, Bob panicked and packed his bags and fled, dragged his first girlfriend with him to the other side of the country. Thinking he outsmarted everybody, Bob moved to a state he thought had no income taxes. He bought himself a house and settled down with his girlfriend. Now, due to Bob no longer having access to new content starring his friends, his views started declining and his partnership started to realize he wasn't as popular as they thought he was. They renegotiated his contract several times, each time reducing his pay. It was at this point Bob went from being a YouTuber to being a live streamer. This is when he realized that this is where the real money was. Soon after Bob was let go from his partnership, but managed to get another one with a smaller partnership company, but they let him go a year or so later. Bob would use both cases to get well over $1,000 in contributions each time. He also used the death of a friend to roll in that sympathy dollars. During this time, he would also lose his first girlfriend because she had a panic attack at her job. Yes, she was the only one in the relationship with a job. And she got taken to the hospital in an ambulance, which resulted in Bob starting up a live stream loudly retelling every single private detail of this event, saying that next time she should just demand a pill rather than an expensive ambulance ride. Now, remember I said Bob thought he didn't have to pay taxes? Well, it turns out he did. Stressed that he might go to jail, Bob started a stream, in which he told people he needed $4,000 to pay his taxes. Well, for the last 3 years, this amount has increased to the current amount of $25,000 he still claims he owes. He also likes to tell people if they don't give him money, he will lose both of his homes. Yes, Bob still owns his old apartment, which, if you believe what he says, he overpaid for because he got honey loved, which he refuses to sell. It is also important to note that after the original tax scare, every single time Bob raised money for taxes was followed by something expensive, like moving in with his girlfriend from across the country or going to visit his parents, whom he claimed were dying at the time, and getting married to his new girlfriend. Currently, Bob is almost 40 and live streams on a popular streaming site, streaming twice a day, up to around 8 hours total stream time, 6 days a week. His streams normally start with him begging for money for half an hour, reminding his viewers that tipping him is the best way to contribute to the stream, and then his stream starts, which normally includes long patches of dead air, farts, and belches, because Bob is a total slob that doesn't give a crap about quality. Over the last 2 years of streaming, Bob has earned an estimated $80,000 to $120,000 a year. You would think a man that is that horrible at streaming but can still get that level of support from his viewers would be extremely grateful, right? Wrong. Bob regularly insults his viewing audience, going so far as to yell insulting and demeaning things to one of his larger contributors because he thought this individual said something negative about him. Also, he is well known for telling his viewers to F off if they ask him what he uses their tip money for. Sometimes he even bans them because that money is his now and how he spends it is none of their business. To finish this off, I will do a simple calculation of an estimate of how much Bob earns from his begging. He has a $200 a day tips goal, meaning he wants at least $4,800 a month from tips. To be fair, I will estimate that he gets $4,000 from tips. The site he streams on has a paid subscriber option. Cheapest tier nets him $3 per sub. It's tiered and can go up to $20 per sub. He has around 650 subs, which means he's getting at least $1,950 from subs. The site also has a converted currency, which he has a $480 a month goal. We will calculate this at $400. He also has a Patreon, which he hasn't updated in more than a year and still earns him $400 a month. So, in total, Bob is getting around $6,750 a month begging, even though he is a massive douchebag and self-entitled prick. Holy monkey balls, dude. Wow. Well, this guy had quite the rant to go on about Dark Side Phil here. Yeah, it's, in case you're curious, yes, this guy's talking about this streamer called Dark Side Phil. And, well, I don't know anything about the dude. I've never heard of him before, so I can't really confirm nor deny that's how he treats his streamers. However, I did watch a couple clips of him, and, well, they don't really paint him in the best of lights, so to speak. But I will say that what has been, told to us here by this very passionate Redditor, that's scummy. Very much so. Begging your fans for money, and his girlfriend's had a breakdown and he got mad that she used an expensive ambulance ride, even though he's doing very well for himself. But that much money a year, $120K a year, is enough money to live comfortably pretty much anywhere, so he had no right to complain about his girlfriend. Okay, I don't know enough about this, so moving on. This story's called Giving a Discount for a Good Cause. So, I'm a police officer, and in my spare time, I do a lot of woodworking. Recently, I've been making wooden flags for people. I've given several away to my close friends and family. I've also been selling some to people at $100 each. I don't mean to sound arrogant, but my flags are good quality. I use good lumber, I take my time on each of them, and I carve all the unions by hand. No CNC, and I take a lot of time to make sure they are precise. I also stain the wood, not paint it, allowing the grain to show through. In total, the cost to me for each flag is about $40. Stained, sealed, carved, and ready to hang. It also takes me about 2 hours of dremeling per flag if there is not a special design requested. Some of the special designs can take me 4 hours or more of dremeling. All of this is to say that me selling them at $100 is very reasonable. So, one day I'm sitting in my garage with the door open. I'm working on one of my flags when a neighbor from a few doors down, Choosing Beggar, approaches me. I take off my earmuffs and headphones and greet her. She is an annoying busybody, but I tolerate her in small doses. She looks at my work and is really impressed by it and says that she would like to buy one. I tell her the price and she starts asking about custom names and unions. I explain that it would be slightly more for anything custom, but said that I could do it. I asked her what she wanted. She explained to me that her daughter was a recovering addict and that she had overdosed a few years back. An officer with a department that neighbors mine had administered Narcan and saved her life. She said that her daughter was doing much better now and had been clean for years. She said that her daughter would like a flag to give him as a thanks. She said that she would like me to make a blue line flag with his name in the blue line. Simple enough, I have done several just like it. I tell her that I could do it fine and that I would not charge her extra for the name as it was a good cause. Choosing Beggar then tells me that she can't really afford $100 and asked me if I could discount the flag. She also asked me if I was able to put the full detailed badge from the officer's department in the union with his badge number. I explained that it would take me a lot of time to design the stencil for the badge because she wanted the actual badge of his departments and that dremeling would take hours. I told her I would not charge her for any of that because it was a good cause, but that the $100 was more than reasonable considering all the extra work. She told me that she would think about it and left. A few weeks later, Choosing Beggar approached me again while I was working. She said that she could pay me $50 and said that she would like just his name in the stripe instead of the badge. I still don't know why I accepted, but I just figured it was a cool cause and I already had a bunch of blue line flags assembled and ready for dremeling. I told her that I had a few full price orders ahead of her and that I would get to it as soon as possible. She seemed annoyed and asked when it would be ready. I explained that I do this as a hobby and not a side job. I can't really tell her how long it would take. I told her probably a week or so. She said that she was hoping to have it by the weekend. It was Thursday and I started work rotation the next day. I told her no and that I would probably have it ready next week. She had the audacity to tell me to push hers to the front then and get it done today. You said it only takes a few hours, right? I had to argue with her about getting her basically free flag. At this point, she was really just paying for the lumber and I was getting $10 to make her a freaking flag. She finally relented and agreed to pick it up next week, but added as she left that it better be ready by next weekend. I put a rush on it as I didn't want to deal with her anymore. I got it done on my first day off, first thing in the morning. I then added the sealants. It takes a couple hours to dry, and I tend to add several coats so that it gets a real nice satin sheen to it. She comes over during that process and asks about it. I told her that it was drying and that I would get it to her soon. Once it was finished, I walked down to Choosing Beggar's house. I showed it to her. It was the blue line flag with the 50 stars and his name in the exact middle of the blue line. She stared at it for a moment and asked why it didn't say Sergeant in front of his name. A, she had never mentioned that she wanted that. B, people promote all the time and putting Sergeant on the flag would look weird if he got promoted again. C, adding that now would make the whole thing off-center. I explained all of this to Choosing Beggar and she said, "Okay, well, we'll just take $10 off the price then, right?" I said no and explained that I had given her custom modification for free and heavily discounted the entire price for her. She acted all indignant and gave me the $50. I was beyond pissed that my attempt to be charitable had been shoved in my face so blatantly. I chalked it up as a bad experience and still kept telling myself that it was for a good cause. Until a few weeks later when I was talking with another neighbor. He's a cool guy and had actually purchased a full-priced flag for me. He tells me that Choosing Beggar had been talking with him and his wife a few days prior, telling them how I didn't make her flag right, forgetting words from it, then charging her full price still. I was so disheartened. What a bimbo. A few weeks later after that, Choosing Beggar did give me a picture of the officer receiving the flag from her daughter. The two of them seemed so happy in the photo, and it actually made it all worth it for me. Still though, the experience actually prompted me to stop selling the flags. I make them now here and there for people when I feel like it. I just don't like the stress of turning my hobby into a job. Adding time constraints and money takes the fun away. Okay, first off, good on this guy for trying his best to help out that ungrateful lady, and the police officer for, saving that girl's life, because that got me a little teared up, when I was reading about how he received the flag. That's sweet. This story's called, I want you to pick up the pizzas for my party, but also you have to pay for them because you owe me for inviting you. I didn't know this sub existed, and I have this friend who is the epitome of this sub. I have several stories about her to post. So I had this friend in college, let's call her Kay. Kay was overall nice to talk to, but the longer you knew her, the more of a scumbag you realized she was. Kay lived in the same dorm as me and my friends. I remember this story like it was yesterday. She had her car and her parents paid for everything, so she wasn't a struggling student in any way, shape, or, you'll never guess, or form. One evening, I was out practicing for a skit I had to do in a Japanese class with a few friends. However, when I was done, I was going to go to Kay's birthday party that she was throwing in the dorm. Partway through our practice, she calls me. Hello?
Hey, I was wondering if you would mind picking up the pizzas for my party. I'm getting things ready here.
Sure, I don't mind. I just have to finish up practicing for this class thing.
Oh, well, I actually really would like if you would go right now.
I can head out in the next 10 minutes, but I can't right this second. Are you in the dorm? I'll run by and pick up the money for the pizzas.
Actually, like I said, I need you to go get them right now. And besides, that's my money. I need it for me.
Well, how am I supposed to pay for the pizzas? Did you prepay or something?
No, I need you to pay for them because this is my money and I invited you to my party, so it's not like you don't owe me for inviting you. Just go grab them.
Sorry, I'm not going to pay for the pizzas for your party, especially when I don't even really eat pizza myself.
But you owe me.
I really don't. Sorry, Kay, you'll have to figure out something else. At this point, I hang up and tell my two friends about this whole situation. We all puzzle over this for a few minutes, then go back to our practice. When we finished up about 15 minutes later, I looked at my phone and I had about 10 messages from Kay, telling me I was selfish and now she has to drive to pick up the pizzas for her party, which means she has to use her gas and the party was ruined, etc. How I was a horrible friend and not to come by her party. Oh, wow. Yep, that is a Choosing Beggar. Wow. Why would you... What kind of party is bring your own pizza? That is the stupidest party I've ever heard. If you have a party where you have to bring your own snacks, unless it's a potluck, I love potlucks. Okay, I gotta go on a whole thing about potlucks now. Okay, potlucks are great because everyone gets to bring what they make really good, so you get this collection of everyone's best dishes, and they're just always so good unless, someone's a really bad cook and they don't realize that they're a bad cook. But even then, there's a bunch of other stuff that, is good. For instance, when I was a little kid, my great aunt Donna, she had this cooking club with all her old lady friends, and she would have them all come over and have these cooking parties, and they'd bring some pre-made stuff and they'd make stuff there. And I got to try everything because I was the cute little kid there, and everyone loved me, so I got to try all the food, but then I had to wash this mountain of dishes with my brother, and it hurt my back a lot. But anyways, potlucks are great, and that's all I'm talking about now.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.